my agenda, maybe a little bit of a beef, is I feel the average American skier who doesn't know that much has been just a little bit led astray. That it's sort of the blind leading the blind. They're watching skiers on the hill that are using skis that are really, really wide and not appropriate for the terrain they're on. And we all know that, and influencers know that. I'm not hearing influencers talk about it. And I want to get to that because I love wide skis for the right conditions and the right situation. I love what's happening in our industry with all the choices. Yeah. The wide skis, the narrow skis, everything. But I want the everyday skier to know how to pick a ski. And if they're in the Midwest and only skiing 400 vertical feet, if they're back east just skiing ice, if they're in the West just skiing groomers, I want them to pick the right ski.
Right. Yes.
You understand the consumer.
Yeah, again, I mean, working retail, being a buyer, being on the sales floor, even as the buyer for all of Christie's for the last several years, being on the floor and talking to the consumer and hearing that, again, just inspires me to want to help them have the right product when they get out on the hill, because I know it ultimately provides the better experience, right? And if they have that, then again, I think we all win. And yes, I have this huge passion, right? I think you can see that, right? I have this passion to help people enjoy this sport. Most European skiers are skiing on skis that are 80 millimeters or narrower, right? And because they're skiing on the groom, which again, a ton of Americans do. We just maybe think we want to do more than that, so we think we should have something wider, right? We all have four-wheel drive huge SUVs, right? Go to Europe, they all got little small cars, right? We buy what we think we might want to do someday.
That's such a good analogy. I mean, to all of us who are driving Hummers in the city,
right?
That's what we're talking about here,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. That's so
not
good.
what you need, right?
That's not what you need. That's
right?
Good. Okay.
It's cool, but you might not need it.
All right. So Pickle. And I can still call you Pickle.
Yes, keep calling me Pickle.
Yeah,
when I am not Pickle, something will have gone wrong.
I love it. We've known each other long enough. You could be the ultimate influencer with equipment in our country, but you're still Pickle to me.
Perfect. I would say most women, we recommend between an 84 and an 88 waisted ski. There's a lot more information that goes with that. But again, 84 to 88, we feel like you can do so much on the mountain, right? Can certainly go narrower, can go wider. Most of our men really struggle with that, so we kind of get into that 88 to 98. And again, they're a little taller, they might pull it off. I would still lean towards 88 is just an awesome overall width for people. But again, a lot are going wider.
Okay, so let me ask the question then. I love all that. You're passing my test. Pickle.
Good.
I know. I thought, oh my gosh, you're thinking she's putting me on the spot here, but you're passing my test.
Yeah.
I'm liking it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but I'm going to push a little further here.
Yeah.
The European skier.
Yeah.
The European skiers, alpine skiing is their culture. Alpine skiing is their world.
Yeah.
They tend to be more on-piste groomer skiers.
Yes.
If you go off-piste in Europe, you might end up in a crevasse. So we're not going to just go out there, right? Like we do in the States.
Yeah.
I think of European skiers who are on a narrower ski, they know how to get it done, generally.
Absolutely.
Generally speaking, and they go narrower. I talked to an influencer yesterday.
Yep.
And I asked the question, who's the American skier? And they said they defined what I felt was a Western skier who's quite athletic and adventuresome and gets into the crud, gets into the trees, gets into the steeps, more like a big mountain skier. And those are the people that need a wider ski underfoot.
I think people love to dream. They aspire to be like those influencers, right? And they see them. And we had a great conversation at dinner last night about it, of how does someone perceive Jim Ryan when they see him ski some amazing line? Do they go back and zoom in and be like, oh, look, he's got on a pair of 114 Revolt, this is what I want? Or do they aspire to that and just go, oh, it's a really fat ski? Or do they dig in further to maybe a blog or another influencer that helps define? That's my dream. That's what I aspire to do, but I'm not there yet, right? So coming back to reality of what do I do most of the time? And if I ski groomers most of the time, then let's get me a ski that's appropriate for those groomers most of the time, and then demo, rent, buy a quiver, whatever it may be, to broaden that. And that's not going to be in the first year or two of your skiing career. It might not be till year 5 or 10, depending on how much time you put into it. Again, awesome to aspire to do that, and there's an appropriate place for those. The other influencer that is always there is a lot of the staff in the shops are younger, right? And we all have a tendency to talk about what we like, right? So you go to the shop and you talk to the 20-something, definitely not always, but you often hear more what they like, what they're accustomed to. And so, again, I always try to just educate people of really go in knowing what you're looking for, not necessarily the exact model, but hey, I like to ski on groomed runs, or I do ski, I'm on blue runs, right? You don't have to have all of the answers, but going in as a consumer prepared. But take a video of yourself skiing and go into the shop and go, here I am.
That's a great idea.
This is what I look like.
This is who I am.
Can you help me? This is, you know.
But you touched on something really important.
Yeah.
People teach what they know.
Yes.
As a ski instructor, we teach what we know. As a shop salesperson, you're going to sell what you know.
Yeah.
And so the trend right now is a wider ski, and that's what the young people know, and that's what they're selling. And I'm going to say magazines. Maybe they see the American skier as a Western big mountain skier,
Yeah.
and I'm like, no, the American skier is broader than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there's a chicken and an egg thing. My goal is to help to shift the needle to what I feel is a healthier place for the consumer in terms of figuring out their equipment, because it's tough.
Yeah, it is. There's a ton out there, right? And
How does geography play into who the American skier is?
it has a bigger impact than I think a lot realize. Again, in my last 7 years working with Christie Sports, you know, we had stores from New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, Washington, Montana, and
The Midwest.
And yeah, they're
Northeast.
just exactly. And each of those regions is a little different, and the snow is a little different, the areas, the amount of pitch. Yeah, what is my job? So I am now the director of ski for Elevate Outdoor Collective. And what does that really mean? It means I'm working with the national sales managers from Marker, Volkel, Dalbello, and Line. K2 is part of our Elevate group, so I certainly am connected with them, but don't directly work with those sales managers at this point. But working with the sales team, working with the marketing team, working with the retailers, really just ultimately doing everything I can to connect our business to grow the business and support our retailers and our racers. We don't actually have any speed skiers here today, but we have a men's technical team. So yeah, just connecting all those dots. And after 40 years in the industry, I know a lot of those dots to connect.
It gets to that point in our career where we've become the experts in it when you've been around for a while, huh?
Yeah.
Magazines sell, and they have an audience.
Yep, absolutely.
And does that audience and those magazines, does that match with what you need to accomplish?
I think it's there. I think we can work with it more, that it's not just about those epic shots, which are awesome, right? And help us all dream. So I'm not saying don't do those, but again, bring it full circle so that we can all see that we can aspire to ski as a family or ski when we're 80, that's all doable. ultimately I want the consumer to become more educated so that when they do purchase product, that they're getting the right product so that they have a good experience. All these different places. Hello.
There's my brother. That is the best.
Damn, it's been a long time.
Family
How are you
affair.
doing? Are you getting interviewed? She can't go anywhere without that thing.
I know, and she caught
You
me.
know something about ski racing? Here, talk on the camera.
We're not talking ski racing.
Oh, you're not?
Talking ski.